Hi, it's Elise here at Bowman Library with a whole new middle grade book spotlight. So this week we are exploring, taking a look at some of the books that are recent award winners. That is correct. Just like the Grammys, just like the Oscars, there are awards that are given to the best books of last year. So there's numerous awards. There's awards that deal with the best book, best illustrations. There's ones that deal with the best nonfiction. There's awards for like books that feature characters that have disabilities, or maybe they have Jewish backgrounds, or there's literally like an award for everything. So we are taking a look at just 6 of the award winners and honor books that were named just a few weeks ago. And they are amazing. So let's get started. Our first one, I'm going to start with one of my favorite nonfiction authors, because guess what? Steve Scheinken has done it again. This is Fallout. Love this one. Could not put this one down. I was on the edge of my seat, even though part of it I knew what was going to happen, but I still needed to know what happened. So this picks up right at the end of World War II, right after the atomic bomb is dropped, because now there's going to be another war. We just ended World War II, but we are ready to move on to a war that is going to be all about what country, either the United States or the Soviet Union, which one is going to be the leading world power now. That's going to become known as the Cold War. Now, this war wasn't going to be fought traditionally. No, instead it was going to be fought more covertly with spies. There's double agents. There's technology races, like the space race. Like who's going to be the first country in space, who's going to be the first one to the moon. There's races about like the different types of weapons and so much more. You will learn about the beginnings of the Cold War through the Cuban Missile Crisis, which again, that will keep you on the edge of your seat, because when you find out, when you actually read what happened, the witness accounts, you find out how close to nuclear war the world came to, you will be left speechless. You will read about events in history that you have no idea that have happened, others that maybe you do, but now you will learn so much more about them because, again, Steve Scheinken is amazing in how he shares this. If you love your nonfiction with a good dose of action, adventure, mystery, suspense, this is a must-read. Loved, loved, loved. This is Fallout. Okay. Something a little bit different. We have a couple of electronic things we're looking at this week. Like, for example, this one's Unspeakable. This one is currently available as an e-audio on Libby and Hoopla right now. And I highly encourage you, because, yes, this one, this is a book that explores the tragic history about a community you may not have even heard before or about. Now, this is back in the early 1900s. The Greenwood area of Tulsa, Oklahoma was a thriving Black neighborhood filled with dozens of businesses along a road that was dubbed Black Wall Street. Now, in 1921, though, that all changed when there was a Black man who was falsely accused of a crime he didn't commit, and that led to racial tensions exploding in this area. And there was a series of events that happened that led to this one night in 1921 that the Greenwood area was then mobbed by white men, and they started looting and arson occurred. And over the course of the night, when all was said and done, up to 300 Greenwood residents were killed and over 8,000 were then left homeless. The police did nothing about this. They didn't try to stop it. They didn't try to investigate it. They just let it happen. Until 75 years later. This amazing picture book, again, this is an e-audio version, but it is a picture book, explores the community, the events of the day and the evening, and the impacts it had later in history. Now, this is an event that's been ignored for a long time, but it doesn't deserve to be. It needs to be taught. We need to learn from this. We need to know what's happened in our history, and that's what this book does. Cannot recommend this enough. This is Unspeakable, the Tulsa Race Massacre. Stunt Boy, in the meantime, and this is by one of my favorites too, Jason Reynolds. He's mixing it up. This isn't your traditional type of Jason Reynolds novel. This is part chapter book, part amazing illustrations, part graphic novel, part superhero story. Again, it's by pictures by Roll III, who is just amazing as well. So you got an amazing author, amazing illustrator put them together. We got Stunt Boy in the meantime. So this is all about Portico Reeves. He has like this not so secret superhero alter ego that he's known by Stunt Boy. And he has this superpower. And his superpower is to make sure that all the other superheroes stay safe. Now, Portico lives in this huge apartment building that is as big as a castle. That's even what he calls it, the castle. And he loves the community that he's in, but there's one exception. That would be the bully named Herbert Singletary, the worst. Now, Portico's life is one that he loves, and he wouldn't change it, but things have started to change, especially at home. His parents have started to argue, and they start to fight more and more, and he wants to save them, but he has no idea how to do that, especially when they start fighting and like the volume starts going up. He starts getting more what he calls the worry wiggles. But when he is Stunt Boy, things don't seem that difficult. But being in real life as Portico, he doesn't know how to deal with everything that is going on, and everything just seems to be failing around him. Now, this is told in 10 episodes, and it's filled again with those amazing illustrations, which enhance this journey that you'll be on with Portico. And this is a story that many people, many readers of all of us can relate to. It may be a different circumstance, but I think we all hope at one point we had a superpower that could make things better and different in a good way. This is Stunt Boy in the meantime. Too Bright to See, and this is an ebook that's available digitally. Now, 11-year-old Bug, he is a transgender boy, and he's having a hard summer. Not only is their best friend Moira into things they are not, such as fashion and makeup and figuring out who the cutest boys in school are and who they're gonna flirt with when they go back to 7th grade, Bug's favorite uncle has passed away, and the family business is in trouble, causing even more stress and anxiety on Bug. Now, living in their haunted house in rural Vermont, Bug has never been impacted by the spirits that haunt there. But a new spirit then this summer decides to arrive, or gets put there, or however the spirit world's gonna work, and Bug is now haunted. It has the dreams of this spirit, and when these dreams start turning to nightmares, Bug decides they need to figure out what the deal is with this ghost. But the closer they come to figuring out the truth, the closer Bug has to come to dealing with the truth about themselves. This is part coming of age, part ghost story, part a little bit horror, nothing too crazy though. This eye-opening and heartwarming book is all about self-acceptance and awareness. This is Too Bright to See. Another ebook. This is the Last Contista. Okay, so it is the year 2016, and Halley's Comet is barreling to Earth. The only way for Petra and her family to survive is to get on board a spacecraft with a few others. They've been part of this select chosen few, and this group, they are going to get on the spaceship and they are going to make their way to a new planet named Sagan. Now, this journey will take about 380 years, so the plan is everyone who's on board is going to be suspended in sleep for the entire journey. Now, fast forward almost 400 years later, and Petra wakes up. But when she wakes up, things are dramatically different, because right as the ship is taking off and they're asleep, so they have no idea this is going on, there's this group called the Collective, and they storm the ship, they hijack it, they get on board, because what they want to do is they want to make sure everyone's memories of Earth are forgotten. And so slowly, as they've been asleep, they've been starting to erase people's memories. Now, Petra wakes up, she finds she still has her memories, and she's determined to keep them. So now she starts, as they start getting closer to this new planet Sagan that they're going to be living on, she needs to figure out how she's A, going to avoid them from erasing her memories, and then B, what is she going to do when they get to this planet? Because there's been these rumors, there's been these grumblings that there's already a colony on the planet, and if she can get to that colony, they are going to be able to help her get away from this cult-like group called the Collective. Now, this is filled with mystery, science fiction, there's suspense, there's adventure. You will not be able to put this one down. This won the Newbery Award. This is considered the best book written for like children in middle grade last year. It is so good. There's the door open for a sequel, so just be aware. It's not out yet, hasn't even been announced, but you never know. Highly recommend this one. This is the Last Contista. And our last one is Finding Juni Kim. So Juni is ready for the first day of 7th grade, but that soon changes because when she gets to school, it's a police scene. And it's all because there was this racist graffiti that was found in the gym. And specifically, this graffiti was against Asian Americans. And now, this is not the first time that Juni and her crew have faced this, but this is the last time because they decide they want to speak out against it. They don't want this happening anymore. Now, Juni doesn't know if this is going to be a good idea, though, because she can't help but wondering, are the people then going to, retaliate against them? And as she starts thinking about this, and she starts to become really depressed and upset, and she decides to seek help. Now, she's given this assignment to talk to an elder, and she decides to interview her grandparents, and they share to her what it was like for them growing up in Korea during the Korean War in the 1950s. Now, this book switches back and forth between present time and the 1950s, making you see that some things have changed, but some have not. And it's incredibly eye-opening, as this is a time in history that usually doesn't get the coverage it should. It's usually not, one that appears in a historical fiction book. But it's so good. There are discussions of violence, racism, depression, and suicide, but this is all about history, surviving and growing from experiences to help make a difference. This is Finding Juni Kim. So these are just 6 of the award winners that we have here at the library. So we encourage you to come out, check out one of these, or we can help you look at some of the other books that have won amazing awards this year. I hope you tune back next week. We have a whole new middle grade book spotlight, and I hope you have a great week.